Guys, what's going on? It's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. here on the East Coast, and it's Proper Royals Live. Thank you for being here tonight. It's kind of a crazy week. I think I say that. I think I just like to live that life. I think I say that at the beginning of every episode. But I'll tell you all about it tonight. I'm excited. It's a fun time of life. When I say crazy, there's ups and downs, but maybe I just got old, or maybe it's just the way that I approach life. But it's not good or bad. It just is, and it's going to dictate how I'm going to go through some other things. And with every bit of craziness, there's always opportunity. So I'll tell you all about that tonight. We got Carlos from Elev8ted Morphs out in Denver, Colorado with us tonight. And we're going to talk about basically some investment strategy, purchasing strategy. We'll focus on hets, possible hets, visuals, and what might be the best approach for several different types of people. And I say types of people, several different situations, not types of people, financial situations that you might be in. Because I mean, yeah, if we were all filthy rich, we'd all want to buy, sunsets and zebras, and we'd just be incredible. But the reality is that's just not the case. And we're all at different stages in our game, in our careers, and our financial situation. So I think it's important to talk about that. Also, an interesting wrinkle to this discussion is the new genetic testing possibilities. Matter of fact, I just sent a shed out today. My number, I guess they're doing a draft or a lottery or a line or a queue or something like that in Morph Market. So about a week ago, I signed up because I wanted to test this male that I had. And true to what they said, I got an email and they said, all right, you're up. Here's your, you had to click a link and then you enter the animal information. It was a little clunky because I think you have to. Maybe I didn't have to. It appeared to me, they certainly wanted me to. I had to enter my animal into the Morph Market database and then mark it not for sale. So that animal's in there. And once I did that, then I could select that animal to test for, I'm going to test for clown. It's an acid male that was sold to me by Dale at Constricted Reptiles. Great guy. I have no reason not to trust him. And he said it's a possible het clown. So let's see. He didn't charge me for the possible het. So this is all gravy. It's all a learning experience. But anyway, I sent out the shed today. They give me a unique code. You got to mark the shed. You got to mark the baggie. It's a little bit tedious, but hey, if they give me great information, I don't care how tedious it is. If they give me honest information, that's pretty good too. But that's going to tie into this investment. This is a whole new era of investment and hets and possible hets. So we're going to talk about how testing ties in on that. And then really apropos of the moment is just the economic times that we find ourselves in. There is no shortage of opinions of what's going on in the economy, what led to what's going on in the economy, and what's going to change or how long it's going to take to change going on in the economy. So I think tonight could be pretty lively and pretty fun. If you're into this nerdy kind of stuff, which really would you be watching if you weren't? So yeah, we'll all be geeks here, and we'll just geek out and ball python. So that's Carlos from Elev8ted Morphs. Hey, say hey to Jordan Leland. I can't point very well. There we go. It's harder to do than it looks. Jordan Leland at JL Royals up in West Bend, Wisconsin, is tonight's show sponsor. This is the third show that he has sponsored. Thanks very much for being a good friend to the show. Check this out. How cool was this? Jordan, I'm going to introduce you at around 8:40 to Jordan. He's got a deal on his snakes that's just a special offer for the Proper Royals audience. How cool is that? Like, we've built this community, and I say we because I realize I'm the host and I do this every week. But if all you guys would have to do is simply stop showing up, and I would probably tap out pretty quick because you need an audience, you know. So anyhow, it's really cool to see that we've built this community that can now leverage some benefit for both myself, but also for you all as the viewer. So Jordan's been real cool to the show, real cool to work with, really good dude. And I look, it's hard. I know it's a big question mark. Clearly he's a sponsor. Clearly there's been a business transaction. I've enjoyed working with him. I truly feel like he's a good dude. Genuinely, I do turn down sponsor requests, believe it or not. But Jordan wasn't one of them. So we'll meet Jordan shortly. As I say every week, check out my morph market. I'm literally, maybe not literally daily, I'm literally often updating my inventory. As soon as I have animals that have had enough to eat and are big enough, I put them up on morph market. The other thing about morph market is a lot of animals that I have that are genetic duplicates of each other, I only post one of them. So if you're interested in a couple, or for example, I've got these Mojave Hypo clutch. They're all Mojave and they're all Hypo, and there's a bunch of them. I've picked out my holdbacks, so the rest are available, but only one's on morph market. But if you say to yourself, man, I could use a little project starter, check with me on that. Also, if you see visuals on morph market, I probably have hets and possible hets, so check with me on that. On top of all of that, shoot me an email, properroyals@gmail.com. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to send out an email list of everything I have available. Some things to me just don't quite make as much sense to take up space on morph market. And morph market does limit how much inventory they would kick me up to a higher tier, which would cost me money and blah, 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 which I don't mind, but I don't want to fill that up with, possible hets or 66%, or like I have a killer looking Enchi. It's just an Enchi. Probably not the morph market space, but if you're already buying snakes and you need a killer looking Enchi and you want to tack that on with the shipping, into the shipping container, why not, right? Anyway, send me an email. I'll get you on the email list and I'll send that out in a couple weeks. So I'm working on that. How fun did Tinley look? I'm jealous. You guys look like you had a blast. I want to hear about it. I haven't been able to keep up with the comments because I'm trying to engage here, because if I just look here, I get distracted looking here. I'll check it out. Anyhow, fun seeing all the Tinley stuff. I'm going to figure out how to be there, hopefully in March, but certainly by next October. I'm coming to hang out with you guys. I got to compare the partying between Tinley and Daytona. Talk about a different atmosphere. Like I could do a whole show on the differences between the scene in Chicago and Daytona. Tinley's not exactly Chicago, but you know what I'm saying. All right, that's another topic, another time. I want to hear about Tinley. Keep sharing the pictures. It's really cool. This is cool. Paul at Large Marge Morphs. Check him out, guys. I got to admit, so I'm 42. I know that metrics-wise, the vast majority of viewers on this channel are 33 to 54. So I know that I am talking to the, preaching to the choir, so to speak. Look at this, people jumping the gun. I already got people emailing saying, not jumping the gun, right on time, saying, put me on the email list. Anyhow, Paul, I was talking to, he commented on something or other, and see if it'll focus on Large March. There it is. And I got it so wrong. I thought that was a Garbage Pail Kid. It is from Pee-wee's Playhouse. I thought it was, one of Adam Baum's siblings from me, my day of growing up in the 80s. Large March Morphs. Check out Paul at Large March Morphs. He's got some cool swag, some cool stickers. I got magnets. I got little circle sticker. I got all kinds of stuff from him. Thank you, Paul. It was really cool. I got weird news about work, and you're going to go, all right, I don't need therapy time with Adam, but it's going to have something to do with these ball pythons here. I got word from work. It's cool. Everything's good. But my consulting contract will not be renewed for 2023 with my biggest client, or it won't be renewed in the scenario that it is right now. And the scenario that it is right now is that it's my main source of income. So things are going to change a little bit for me, but I have a ton of good opportunity. I'm in this weird, I'm not going to bother with all the employment stuff. So what it has to do with anything related to this show, other than just me venting and you all being kind of cool and me feeling like I'm among a safe place to talk about stuff like this. I was playing in a band one time and lamenting to another guy in another band who I kind of looked up to, and he was a bit older than me. And I said, man, it is so hard to make a buck playing in a band. You know, there's 4 of us. We got to get hotels. We got to eat. We got to this, that. It's expensive. It's just a pain. And he just looked at me like these moments of clarity in life sometimes. He just looks at me and he goes, if your business model isn't working, you need to change your model. And he walked off. Like, he just grabbed his beer, walked off, and went and played his show. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. So it's been a good run with that work. And I think that there'll still be some work with them, but it won't be the main thing. But I started thinking to myself, what am I missing? What do I need to do? And anyhow, I've got one really cool development. I just can't tell you about it yet. It's going to be 2-3 weeks before I can fully unveil that. Huge opportunity that I took this week, and that is a done deal. I will tell you all more about it and at the right time. We're a couple weeks out, probably end of October on that. And then speaking of Tinley, I had a pretty good conversation with some people that were at Tinley, coming home from Tinley, that again might be an opportunity for me to provide value to you all, the viewers, and you all have supported me incredibly. I might be able to pass something on to you all. I'll just leave that there, because that could be slam dunk 100%. That could be nothing. So I have no idea how that's going to work out. When I find out how it works out, I'll tell you about it, good, bad, or ugly. The other one I'll unveil at the right time, but I'll tell you that both of those were kind of the kick in the pants reaction that I got from finding out that my contract wouldn't be renewed and going, all right, time to shift gears and look for some opportunities. So I'm really excited. Things are healthy. I'm healthy. We're fine. And I'm kind of energized right now in a weird way. Most people wouldn't be energized by being told they're going to essentially lose their job. But I'm pretty energized by it. It's a fun time. And I think you guys are part of that safety net for me. Maybe I'm just lying to myself, but I feel good about it. Upcoming guests next week, we got Brandon we got Brandon Nixon from Nixon Reptiles. The following week, Josh and Jace from Gen Z Reptiles. The following week, from all the way out in Oregon, Stone Age Ball Pythons. Justin and I have been talking for literally probably 6 months. He's a busy man. I'm a busy man. Tuesday night stars finally aligned. Next month, also got Rashad from 212 Exotics. And, of course, I'm always working on more guests, so I will have more for you. I have yammered on a lot. You all came to see Carlos, and we came to talk about everything I put in the title and the heading. Yeah, I think we're just about ready to get there. I got a hatchling rack for sale here locally. If somebody wants to pick it up, come on by. It's not free. We'll talk about it. 36 6-quart container hatchling rack, full heat strips, 3/4 inch PVC. I did not pre-drill the holes. I skipped that part from Kai, but otherwise, I think Kai would approve of the construction. 3/4 inch PVC, solid all around, and that'll hold 36 hatchling tubs, 6-quart hatchling tubs. I think I got it listed locally for $350. Show up, take this thing, bring some cash. Let's figure something out. It's just taking up space right now. Nothing wrong with it. I just got a little different facility set up going on this week too. So that's ready to go. Okay, Carlos from Elev8ted Morphs, Denver, Colorado. There goes my camera, just right on cue. Man, let's try this again here. What could have happened? There it is. Carlos from Elev8ted. Sorry, man, I get so mad with these live things sometimes. If my internet kicks out, Chrome says it has lost touch with my camera, and if there's blips, that's just what happens. So the joys of live stuff, right? Carlos from Elev8ted Morphs. I'm going to let Carlos introduce himself here in just a moment, but I spent a little bit of time on the phone with him the other day. What a cool dude. We've been in touch since before July, because we were trying to hang out when I was out in Colorado this summer. This is the first chance I'm going to get to hang out with him. So I'm very excited. Please welcome Carlos. You got to be there. Where are you at?
Hold up.
I got no camera for you. Hang on here.
Woo, we're here. Yo, what up for supper, guys? It's your boy, Carlos, and we're back at you with Adams at Proper Royals.
Yeah, man. What is going on? I'm glad to have you back. Not back for the first time on the Proper Royal stage, man.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, most definitely. So I'm going to have you like give us the rundown of what you got going, but I think everybody knows I usually have some kind of connection with my guests, and you know, in this world of social media, in one way it's kind of easy to connect with people, but in another way there's just other cool stuff. So I had seen you had commented on the show, you've been in and maybe in the audience, and maybe been in on you know, a YouTube comment or whatever it might be, and I recognized your logo. And it was really cool because when I was out there in Denver, like, you made a real strong effort to get in touch with me, man. And I think some work came up or something. But yeah, we had some plans to get some beers with John at Inquiline. And I was hanging out with one of my buddies that's a computer developer. So then one day I'm like, this is a cool dude. And I'm like, then the next day I go like check your morph market. And I'm like, holy cow, this guy's on a different level. Like, you're just showing it back in the comments, and then I see your stuff on Morph Market. So
thank you.
I was very intrigued, and then I won't bore everybody with it. We got way better content to get to, but we had a cool interaction earlier this week doing show prep, and all credit to Carlos. Carlos is the one that sort of planted the seed for this topic tonight, and then hopefully I've grown it. I certainly got a little excited about it and fired up this week. So, Carlos, tell us about what you got going on in your operation. Give us some stats, anything you want to flex about, tell us, you know, but give us the introduction of you, man.
Not too much, man. I've been breeding ball pythons for 12, 13 years now. You know, everybody else just getting into it as a hobby. You know, been fun. It's been a fun ride. You know, there's times where where there's downs where you're just like, man, I don't know if I want to keep doing this anymore. And then there's a new morph that you just hatched out and you're like, yes, let me keep going. So, you know, if any of you guys out there that, you know, go through that, just keep going through it and you'll get through it. Like, you will. Like, so there's times where you're like, man, I just can't push through this anymore. And you just, man, if you push through it, you're going to be thankful in the long run. This is the whole topic for today was pos hets, and the way I started my clowns, all of my clowns that I've hatched were I bought 100% het pastel back in 2006 or 7, and he cost me $700. It was a pastel 100% het clown for $700.
Wow. Okay, so wait, hang on. Before we jump in really deep.
Okay.
So you're 12, 13 years in. How many, like, what are your breeding, like the number of breeding pairings or how many hatchlings? Just not like, just
well, I got it. The way I built my collection was kind of more of a collector. You know, I wanted to produce a certain snake. The snake I really wanted to produce was a bumblebee when those first came out, because those were hot at the time. And so I got the ingredients for the bumblebee, which was the start of my collection. Was I had a normal, which actually started everything, because I was like, oh, let's see, doing my research on ball pythons. And then come to find out there's bumblebees and pastels and
right, yeah.
I was got me intrigued. And so then I seen the blue-eyed Lucy, and I was like, oh man, like this is cool. You know,
I'm saying here today, how many?
Today, how many? I have about I had 15 clutches. I have about 80, 90 adults, and then all the rest. I had about 100. I have 180 snakes right now with all the babies and hatchlings and everything.
And is there like, where are you at on like business hobby spectrum? Like, is there a path for this to be a main.
Yeah, last year actually, I had about 22 clutches, and I started my business last year, my LLC. So Elev8ted Morphs is an LLC that I started last year, 2021. I made like $35,000 last year on just some basic snakes, on a couple clowns here and there, a whole bunch of banana stuff, some hypos, some Lucy's, a lot of Lucy's, a lot of pies.
Was that if you don't mind me asking, that's up to you if you want to talk about it or not. Sure. But was that 35, since you brought it up, was that a gross number, or was that your profit number?
That was gross. So I didn't profit last year because I spent a lot of money last year. Because I was like, you know what? The animals that I had that I built on were all my babies that I grew up, and adults that I had growing up from those 12 years, And they weren't like powerhouse animals, a pie, a pastel pie, some clowns, Inchi clown, some cinnamon clown, just little, basic, building blocks that because I was just trying to do it as a hobby, like I said. And I was just trying to produce the snake like I produced my panda pie. I didn't want to spend $10,000 on a panda pie,
Right.
So I produced that snake.
That's the reality.
Myself.
That's blood money to most of us, myself included. Like, I can't go dropping 10 grand on a snake right now. If I had, no, I can't. I'm not even gonna say maybe. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to honestly decide to spend real top dollar, like $2,000, $5,000. The most I've ever spent is $14,000 for one snake, which is a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. But if you have the experience and the means and the customer base and the respect of in your community, that's a different story. But that all takes time to build to, right?
Right. Yeah, and I have a lot of repeat customers. I got a lot of customers that are, buy a pet and then want to get into breeding, and then I kind of start mentoring them down that road, which is really pretty cool.
I want to talk about that later, because we got to get to that part of the story. Why I say later is, I imagine, I don't want to spoil anything, but I imagine with what you're going to talk about, there's going to be a lot of misses. There's going to be a lot of possible hets, single and double codoms.
Right.
And there's got to be a path for those somewhere too. Or else you're going to end up with, more overhead.
Exactly.
You'll ever bring in. Like, you're going to feed them more than it's going to cost you more to feed them than you'll ever make on those. So, all right. So what say you about hets versus visuals, possible hets? You were passionate about it. We were talking about
I'm very passionate about possets, and a lot of people sleep on possets or are scared of them. And I understand why, especially when I got into it, a lot of people weren't upfront and 100% about what they're doing or what they're selling. So that really put a sting in the hobby because of that,
Right.
But I always try to tell people, at least buy from reputable breeders that that are 100%, transparent, show you the parents, show you the babies, all that good stuff, and that you're getting something from it. Somebody who at least is reputable. Not to say that some reputable people can't Jew you, like, it's just you're taking a gamble at that point too. But it's not even always about buying possets either. Make your own. You're talking zebra. You could get a het zebra. I think is $45,000 for a het zebra right now. So you get your het zebra, you breed him to a few females, you get your 50% possets out of there, you keep your females back. The ones that look like they're gonna, prove, you kind of like cherry pick them. And I always say, that I think a lot of people know this too, is when it's a het, usually you have some kind of influence on it. Somewhere, there's some sort of influence if you have the right eye to see it, and you have to be doing this stuff for a long time to see that stuff.
Right.
But you can definitely pull out a lot of possets out of your clutches if you know what you're looking for, and you can see the differences in you know, the heads sometimes are a lot brighter, sometimes have a lot more crazier patterns and stuff like that, you know, when it comes to clowns too, you know. So you could always use that as kind of like a guidance, not to say that's going to prove out, but that can definitely help you to pick the right ones. And like I was telling you, that 100% het male that I bought, and I bred him to a female. The females that I kept, I cherry picked. There was 4 females out of there. I kept 2 of them. The 2 that I kept that I cherry picked proved out.
Yeah,
100% het. They produced my first clowns. So that's how I said I spent the $700. I did take the long road. Yeah, it took me 3 years to produce them, but I got them, you know, and you just keep playing with those odds. And if you're trying to get in, and then this is what we're talking about, is getting into a project, and we're talking like a recessive project, a high-end recessive project, sort of like Zebra or Puzzle or what else is out there?
oh, there's a monsoon.
Sunset. There's so many. Monsoon's a good one, and monsoon's actually a great one to bring up because there's a lot of markers on monsoon, you know, so
that's true. Yeah,
you can kind of judge off the crazy patterns on that monsoon, that pos het monsoon, that one might hit, you know. So
I should give a little bit of context too. Like, I don't think you or I'm certainly not saying that like if somebody has the means to go get a monsoon, go get a monsoon, get in the game, like
right, yeah.
That's me. But the reality is that we can't all do that,
right?
And frankly, if we could all do it, they'd be even more expensive. Like,
right. Well, if we're all doing it too, there's not going to be a market there either, you know. So
right. So this isn't necessarily the ideal way that we would go about pursuing these things, but it's the way, like, what do we always hear? Life's about what we do with what we got and how we make the most of what we got. And that's a good option. You talked about, when we were talking on the phone, I thought an interesting point too was there's more to it than just, hey, buy pos hats and see what happens.
Right.
It's a waste of time.
Well, yeah.
You can hedge that. Talk about some of the
ways.
That
so this is how you, like you were talking, this is how you hedge that. So what you'll do is, so like I was telling you, I bought a female pastel hypo, 100% het for puzzle. That cost me $2,200. Okay, one for one snake, $2,200. She's hypo, she's visual hypo, and she's 100% for puzzle. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, so I wanted to put this on my YouTube, but I'm not sure how to videotape it and do it. But here we are. Let's talk about it. So I bought that girl, and then I was like, well, you know, I want to do some kind of content with the channel, and I was like, well, I found a cinnamon ghost 50% het puzzle. So it's cinnamon, and it's a ghost. And she's 50% het puzzle, okay? And I bought her sister. So I bought
you're on the female. You're still on the female.
I'm still on females here. Yeah. So I bought the one for the $2,200. Now I want to buy 3 snakes that have the same genes, could possibly have the same genes, and for the price of this one, okay? So I buy 2 females from the same clutch. So you want to try to buy from the same clutch if you can. And I bought that cinnamon ghost 50% het puzzle.
Why do you say that?
Because you have a better odds of one of them proving out. So I'm really shooting for the puzzle, right? I don't really care. I mean, I do care about the hypo, but not too much on the cinnamon 66% hypo, 50% het puzzle.
Sure, those are just the vessel for the puzzle, G.
Right. Just the vessel, definitely. So puzzle is what I want. So if I buy 2 of the females that were in that clutch, while they're 50% het, one of them should prove, right?
Right.
Because there's 2 of them, 50-50. One of them should hit. Both of them might hit. Who knows? So I try to buy the whole clutch if I can. And I've done this before with males, where I buy the whole clutch. and I proved out males that were 50% hits. So let's keep going on this one though. So it's the cinnamon. So I bought those two females. It's the cinnamon hypo, 50% head ghost, and the sister, the cinnamon 66% hypo, 50% hit puzzle. Okay, and then to make sure that I get my hypo puzzle, or make sure I get puzzles, I'm gonna buy a female. I bought a female yellow belly double hit hypo puzzle for $1,200. So both of those two females, the cinnamon ones, cost me like $850, and then the $1,200 for the yellow belly double hit 100%. Okay, so I got
those females as well.
They're all female.
So
I bought 3 females for the price of the one. So I have 4 altogether. But yeah,
you got 4
I bought
altogether.
3 females to prove this out to people. I'm trying to prove this out to people so they can stop sleeping on these pos heads. I bought 3 females for that price of that one.
Yeah.
Now I know for a fact that the one's gonna hit on hypo and puzzle because she's 100% on both, right?
Correct.
The other 2 are my gamblers. If I hit on one of them, I'm sitting nice already. I'm saying if it's the ghost that hits on the puzzle, shoot, I paid $5 something for her, and she's actually a cinnamon, opposed to the pastel.
Yeah.
So say just one of them hits. You're already up on the. So let's say that we get 6 eggs from the hypo puzzle, the pastel hypo puzzle. Okay. Now we're just gonna say 6, keep it even. We're gonna get 12 eggs from the cinnamon and the 2 cinnamon girls. Okay. So let's say now we just doubled our eggs right there. We just doubled our eggs. We're gonna have a powerful male puzzle, hopefully a hypo puzzle male that's gonna be going to these females. So no matter what I get out of there, they're all gonna be double hit.
And what male have you sourced your male yet, or you're still growing?
Yeah, I tell people don't get your male yet, or if you could produce it before then, awesome. If you could produce it yourself,
right,
before then, great. But if not, and I do have a chocolate banana double hit hypo puzzle that will be going to some girls this year, this coming season. So hopefully I could produce one before those girls are ready.
You're gonna have so you got the potential to create. Hang on, let me see if I remember it or not. A hypo puzzle, chocolate, cinnamon. What else am I missing in there?
Banana.
Banana. That's a crazy project. I mean, and how many years from purchasing to the first round of eggs is going to be for you? 2 years that you're going to have in that?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the females, I mean, puzzle girls, they eat good. They're really quick growers. Honestly, I don't think I've had one of my females skip a meal. Even I feed them in shed. They eat in shed. So
something like that. I got that acid male I got. I'm just blown up. People are probably tired of hearing me talk about him. He just eats and he grows. Man, it's unreal how fast he's growing, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the cinnamon ghost 50% puzzle girl is a lot bigger than the cinnamon 66% hypo girl. I kind of fed her a little bit more though, I guess.
Right. I mean, yeah.
But those girls.
Yeah, I mean, if we see that that's in their nature, then we push them a little bit or give them.
Yeah. And you kind of do that to the ones that you kind of want to get to size a little bit faster, Right.
So, yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm really excited about this hypo puzzle. Hypo puzzle is awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen any online. It's just amazing. Yeah, I think the puzzle gene has a lot of room to grow. And I think, honestly, it's going to probably be the next clown. The only downfall about puzzle, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it, is they're pretty aggressive. And I have some that are nice. So to say all of them are aggressive, you can't do that, because I do have a couple of them that are real nice. Like my Mojave puzzle, she's cool as hell. She don't get up, and because they start S'ing up real quick, like they're ready to get you.
Right.
So I mean, you don't want to. I mean, that's the only downfall about puzzle. No one wants a beautiful snake that they can't handle, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, from a breeder, pet, or somewhere on the spectrum of pet and hobby, there's some space to work in there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miggy's got a good point. Like when I get the little hatchlings that are jerks, man, they eat though, man. Like I don't know what it is. My leopard, I had a couple leopards this season, and those things, like, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. If I open that tub, man, they're ready for business. They're ready to go, man. So you were saying a minute ago. So do you have some visual puzzles as well outside of that example that you just gave? Or
yeah, I do. I do. I have the Mojave puzzle, and I have a puzzle 66% het for clown.
Wow, very cool. Okay. And did you make those yourself?
No, I didn't. No, I bought the Mojave puzzle from Dark Clouded Reptiles, Randy Foster. He has a lot of puzzle stuff. And then I got the regular puzzle girl, the 66% het clown girl from TJW, William.
Mm-hmm.
William has a lot of puzzle stuff too.
I'm still here. Don't worry about this.
Okay.
If I get a little blip in my internet connection, Chrome says it's not talking to my camera anymore. And I think total transparency, I'm on a 7-year-old Apple right now. And I think the 7-year-old is getting tired is what I think.
It ran its course.
Maybe so. I'll remedy that soon enough. And actually, I might even just do a test run next week with off my laptop here instead of the desktop. But anyway, neither here nor there. I figured out how to at least maintain the show versus last week when it was driving me crazy. That is my 8:40 alarm, because I promised everybody, and I promised our sponsor, that I would introduce everybody to our sponsor. Guys, before you click away, Jordan, first off, don't click away because that's not cool. Jordan makes things a little easier for me by sponsoring the show. But he's got a deal and an offer for our audience, and I'm just going to hit play and introduce you to Jordan for about 90 seconds, and then we'll get back to regular scheduled programming. This is Jordan Leland in West Bend, Wisconsin. That's a lie. Now this is Jordan in West Bend, Wisconsin here. He's got a few clutches coming available, but one specifically that he's got a special deal just for the Proper Royals viewers. These snakes he's going to make available to Morph Market and the general public on Saturday. Well, it's Tuesday night. If you message Jordan on Instagram and mention the live, he's going to give you 50% off shipping. We've seen what those prices are these days. I mean, that's going to be $25-30. Jordan is working with projects centered around acid, cypress, ghost, pied, and calico, among many, many others. This clutch, a Lemon Blast Soul Sucker. Let me break that down for you. A lesser Hidden Gene Woma Pinstripe Pastel that he bred to an Orange Dream Black Pewter Het Ghost. So everything I show you in this promo is also going to be 50% Het Ghost as well. Let's check out the snakes that he's got available. So first off is this Lesser Pinstripe. Simple, beautiful combination. Up next, look at this thing. Super Pastel, Pinstripe, Orange Dream, Hidden Gene Woma. This next one is a Pastel, Black Pastel, Hidden Gene Woma, possible Orange Dream in there. Then a Pastel Lesser, Black Pastel, possible Orange Dream. And then this beast, Super Pastel, Lesser, Black Pastel, possible everything else in there. So get in touch with Jordan at JL Royals on Instagram. His contact information is down in the link below. You can also find him on Morph Market. And like I say, on Saturday, the special offer expires and his snakes will go to the general public on Morph Market. There we go. there's nothing more awkward than watching myself
Watch
while
yourself.
being filmed watching myself. Yeah, that I didn't enjoy. Hey, all joking aside, Jordan's been great to work with. He's been excited about this clutch. And I just asked him, it was funny because I asked him behind the scenes, I said, hey, are these going to be posted yet or what? And he goes, you know what? That's a great question. I'm not posting them, and I give your viewers 50% off if they mention the live. I'm like, that's brilliant that you're bringing value that way. So, Jordan, thanks very much, guys. His information is right down in the description in the link. So check out Jordan. Carlos, so we've gone from you're talking in one breath about buying possible hats. And in the next breath, you're talking about you own visual puzzles, several visual puzzles. Has there been an investment strategy that you've kind of kept all the way through? Do you roll with markets? What's your 13 years is a lot of time. Let me just put this in my own context. 13 years takes us back to right at the very start of the Great Recession. So talk about markets ups and downs. You've seen it in the industry. What can you tell us from an investment standpoint with that kind of longevity and perspective?
There's times where, it gets down in there and you're like, well, things aren't moving as fast. But if you just hold on to your stuff and keep it and just keep reposting it, eventually the right person's going to come along and grab that snake. So don't go and try to cut your prices all crazy just because you want to get it out of there. Hold on to it. If you want to drop down a couple bucks, that's always cool. But try to keep your ground and keep going, because it's not easy to produce these snakes. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of time. So just keep on keeping on. But yeah, I think it's always going to have that up and down. And I noticed that the market's been very strong the last 2-3 years. This is kind of scary with everything that's going on with our economy here. But there's still people investing, people buying snakes for pets, and you just got to keep on going. I think your investment wise, depending on where you're able to invest. 12 years ago, I wasn't able to invest what I did last year.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, I was finally in a position to where, like I said, it was more of a collector for me, and then finally in a position to be like, you know what, I'm gonna take a big step and actually do something with it and make my mark on this industry if I can. With everybody out here, it's a fight. You know what I mean? And it's a dog fight, and everybody's like, I want to be the first to do it. I want to be the first there. I'm all about quality. I want to just have some really high quality animals. I don't need to be the first one to produce those animals. I just want them to be like, all right, you're going to want a good snake, hit up Carlos,
Very good. Yeah. And let me ask you, just to clarify, I know you said that you started your LLC last year. Is that your primary source of income? Is this a full-time gig yet? Or is it getting there? You're on your way to it?
No, this is pretty much like my side business. It's going to just be like my side business. I do breed rats. Actually making money, doing a lot of money on the rat side of things. So that actually helps out a lot.
I was saying, I hear that from a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. And it helps too with the collection, man. When you have your own rats and you see some of your snakes are out in the front of the tub and they look hungry, I'll go and stop at my rat house and go grab them some rats,
Yeah.
I have another house down the road that I rent to my cousin, and I'm going to turn the whole 2-car garage into a whole rat breeding facility in the next 2 months. So that's something coming down the pipeline for me.
How's the scene there in Denver? I know John's out there. Of course, Chris Hardwick is way in the mountains out there. But how's the ball python? Is it pretty active there in Denver or not? Or do you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of us out here. I know there's like 5 or 6 of us bigger breeders that I know that are out here.
Yeah.
NoCo Exotics, Creature Breeder.
Right.
We got FNAs out here.
Yeah, that's right. FNA.
Who else? NoCo.
NoCo's got a lot of cool stuff going on too.
So there's two NoCos, and yeah, so
little drama then, huh?
there is a little bit of drama there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sloan something. I just noticed him on Morph Market. I was like, oh shoot, he's in Colorado, but I haven't met him or anything. There's a lot of guys popping up out here.
Cool. That's cool to hear and cool to see. So I'm sorry, I cut you off along the way in there. You were about to say, as far as an investment strategy or planning, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, whatever we have the means to buy, maybe buy the best that we can. But what did you follow in your time?
So, in your space and your wallet is always a big factor. So how much can you spend and what projects do you want to get into? And when I tell people when you're getting into projects, like, I try to have my projects always some way going to intertwine at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the hypo stuff, like, I'll have some Pied hypo stuff, and then I'll have some clown hypo stuff and some puzzle hypo stuff, and that stuff's going to intertwine. I got some DG hypo stuff, and it's all just going to come together eventually down the road,
Well, and that's actually a point that I've always kind of held tight to, because some of the input that I've gotten, which I admittedly, I've always said we're all on our own journey. We're all in a unique spot, whether it be our space, our time, our money, our resources, and our own sort of patience and risk reward factors that we're willing to take. But I always saw my recessive projects as the more I can get them to overlap, the more future variety and future options I have in the future.
Right.
So where, say like right now, I don't work with Desert Ghost. I think I have 10. I have a list somewhere. I think I have 10 recessives that I work with. But if those are all, talk about possible hets and future hets, making triple and quad hets down the line to bring in another recessive, you're already off to the races.
You're already above a lot of the other guys, and you can start doing 2, 3, 4, pos head or hits. Even starting to get into those 2, 3, 4 gene pos hits that you can keep back and eventually prove them out. I hear a lot of big breeders say, "Yeah, those came from pos heads. Those came from pos heads." Like. If you really listen to what they're talking about, they're like, yeah, those were 50% hits that I produced those out of,
I feel like there's a hill, and I feel like there's a hill because I feel like I'm going up it. So it damn sure feels like a hill to me. But I feel like there's a hill of getting all the right things into place, and then I feel like you're going to crest the hill one day, and then suddenly all the cool foundation that you've laid is going to start producing really cool things. So like next year, I'll finally be able to breed a triple het to a triple het. I start thinking of the possibilities. I don't think there's a shot in the dark that I'll get the triple het or the triple visual, but I could produce a lavender. I could produce an axanthic. I could produce a pied. I could produce an axanthic pied. You start going, oh my gosh, like all that little time I was waiting, all that little time I was being patient, boom, it's going to come to light. And I'm like I said, I feel like I'm getting to the top of that hill. And then of course, every year I get a hard time on this show from friends. We're all cool. Everybody's cool. That I don't hold back enough. And my mindset is, well, if I can raise money to buy exactly what I would be going for, holding back, I'm going to raise the money and I'll buy what I'm going to go get. And that's a little better.
That comes down to your strategies, That's your strategy. Like, you don't want to sit there and wait on the actual visual. That's fine. You don't need to buy the process, then go buy that visual when you get the chance,
Well, and it's also a function of that space factor.
The space factor.
If I have space to hold back a 1.3, okay, I'm gonna need to raise the capital and buy, then I can buy what I'm after in one tub, and the return will come when I'm producing visuals versus hets in the future. Is my thoughts. That, again, we're all seeing things through our own experience and business acumen, but I try and balance that stuff, but I do, like
Yeah.
I say, between time and space, if I can get there quicker and I can produce the revenue, I'd rather go after it and go for it, you know?
Right. Yeah, but you have the adult, you know, these are some strategies for you know, newcomers, new breeders coming in that don't have actual big females to start breeding, and
Yes.
actually, you know, to make a foundation for themselves, start buying some pos heads. Honestly, like, put them in your rack, man, and then buy that visual, a hardcore visual down the road, and watch those guys watch them guys prove out. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's a gamble, and I'm a gambler, so.
Well, and again, sometimes it's all that we got, and it's not like it's not. This is a really good point, actually. Much like when I compliment my Adam, that's a nice, good point. No, but this is a good point. Almost none of us will ever have the opportunity to go from no snakes, flip a switch, and suddenly be breeders. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
There is a time continuum that we got to be willing to invest, and I'm still in the middle of that. I mean, this is just coming up on 3 years that I bought a ball python. Yeah, so like it's really cool, the foundation that I feel like I've laid, the people and the mentorship I get from this community is phenomenal, and the relationships that I've met. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't suddenly magically have that 10 grand to buy the, you know, double visual breeder that's just going to pop things out. At the end of the day, we all got to do our time on this is really, truly what I've seen. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you got the space and if you don't have the money, but you got the space and the resources, definitely. I mean, 66%, anything 66% in life, we would think is a pretty amazing odds. Like, why not on this?
And then you're saying the genetic testing is definitely going to take over. I'm going to actually get one of my girls tested. I have a cinnamon, red stripe female, 66% het for clown. Now, 100%. I have her for sale right now for like $650, I think. But a 100% het clown, the same genes, but 100% het clown that is going for $1,500.
Right.
So you're saving half the money. But once I get that girl tested, and then she proves out to be het clown, then my price is going to go up. You know.
That's right. You hit the nail on the head. I'm curious to see. So full transparency to everybody. I don't know how many people have done the research on this. The pricing structure is $65 for one test, for one gene. You can test for a second gene within the same snake for 20 or 25 more. Let's just say 20 more to make it easy. Or you could test all the genes that they test for, which I think is 5 recessives right now, for $125. So, like,
sorry, I'm laughing at Will right there. He just said something, which is true.
Well, that's a fantastic angle too, to tell you the truth. If they were, again, depending what it is,
man. I mean, you can do that now. I mean, it might be. Will it be worth it? Maybe, depending on what genes are in there.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, I have some of mine. So, like, I have some. Actually, I only have one possible head. I know the rest, but I could have results this year that I'm trying to stay away from producing possible heads in my results for the reasons we're talking about. And a lot of people are like, oh, just do it and then get it tested. Well, hypo in the market, that $65 testing rate for a het hypo is going to be hard to overcome. I mean, am I going to come out another $20 a head because I waited 3 weeks? Screw that, man. Like, give me the money and let me get to work.
Right.
Because for me, I'm not saying for everybody, for me, cash flow is vitally important. Like, I don't need to be rich, but I've got to have cash flow. I got too many businesses going, and cash flow is important. And right now I'm spending an incredible amount of money feeding my animals. Like, cash flow is vital to me. So there are different situations for different people. So I think hypo is in a, like, I'm probably not. I don't want to produce
for hypo. You wouldn't.
No. VPI Xanthic is right on that cusp. Like, Is the possible or the het now because the visuals, you could get a visual female for $400 or $500, I think, right now. I mean, when you're talking 15 to 20% of the animal price to prove a het versus just buying a visual,
right?
That's a tough sell. On the other hand, when you start getting into the double, the triple, the quad potential hets, then testing for hypo, then dropping the 120 or whatever for the whole shebang testing. But I'm curious because that's their starting price. I'm interested to see after 6 months where they land on their price to see where the demand is at. And if they have tiered pricing for, I mean, we all know the science doesn't cost them anymore to test.
Yeah, they already have it there.
But I wonder if they're going to go, all right, in tier A, you're going to pay 65, and in tier B and C, you'll pay 40 or 30. I don't know.
Yeah. Or they'll give you allotment like you get 10 sheds or 10 snakes for this price or 5 snakes for this price or something.
I think we're going to see a subscription model. I think you're going to get.
And it might go down eventually. You know, the older it gets, the price might go down. But then they're going to be testing for new stuff. Hopefully, I heard they're getting puzzle in there. You know, sunset. I don't know about zebra or anything like that, but I would venture to say they would get those in there.
Yeah, the yellow belly complex codoms will be any day now. Those are. I do know for sure those are mapped. I don't know that they've implemented them in their particular organization. But I had Dr. Seidel that headed up a lot of this first initial genetic testing on the show. She was ready to publish on the yellow belly complex, and the peer review section or component of publishing scientific journals, they said you need to go back and do a little more research on sparks. So she was actually when she was on my show, she was trying to collect super spark sheds. She said, I need about 5 more super sparks, and then I can publish all of the yellow belly complex, which is pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I accidentally got into spark by accident.
Isn't that the story on a lot of things we do, man?
Yeah. Well, it was sold to me as an import. And I bred it this year, and I bred it to a yellow belly, and I produced some pumas. So I was like, yep, it's a spark.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, I want to say thanks to everybody in the audience. We're flirting with 60 people, and there are some new names. Those of y'all that are new to the show, I'm really trying to stay engaged with the guests and keep the content going rather than like just endless shout outs. And plus I'm just antsy and socially anxious. I'm way better at just hanging out with one person than trying to moderate everything over here. But it's good to see you all. 121 mutations. I think you're new. I saw Eden's Den earlier. I think that you're new. Miggy's, I know we talked on Instagram this week. Thanks for checking out the show, man. That's awesome. Morphic Exotics, I think you're new. Thanks for being here. And everybody that makes the show worthwhile. I told you all at the very beginning, like, if you weren't here, I would just do a regular YouTube channel. Why would I do the live, you know? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is thank you all. Thanks very much. If you're just joining, check out
Chris. JL
Royals as well. He was a fine sponsor. Links in the description down below. So testing. Let's keep on that. So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the different avenues it could go and the different ways that it could be like affect the market. So
I actually seen Kabelka, not Kabelka Nova. Now I've been watching one of his snakes that I was looking at as I think it was a Confusion 100% het puzzle, 66% het for clown. And I was thinking about snatching it up for a while there, and he ended up getting it genetic tested for the clown, and the clown didn't prove, so he ended up dropping the price a little bit and selling it as just 100% het puzzle.
Gotcha. Eden's Den, how do you test? If you go to Morph Market, I couldn't tell you exactly where. They've got like a little headline section, certainly on the desktop version. I don't know about the phone version. And on headlines, it says like genetic testing is here or something like that. This company has partnered with Morph Market. And then I think they're trying to regulate how there's just them getting swamped is what I think they're trying to regulate. Like, I think they're just afraid of getting run over, rightly so. You don't want to be the company that starts and then you can't handle what you promise people. So you have to enter your name and information and request a place in line, essentially. And then it was pretty fast. It was within a week. I got my call, and they send me an email, and then you're off to the races. They give you the information from there. But Eden's Den, it's within Morph Market is where you'll find it.
I just got my email like Friday, I think, for the testing because I signed up too.
Yeah. Nixon Reptile. Yeah, there's so much information that they're gathering with the data tracking. Like they're going to be able to formulate, just by them seeing what animals people are testing, they're going to be able to formulate what they want to invest in to test in the future. They're able to gauge demographics, what they're, because these are all Morph Market members. They already have a lot of the information, location demographics. That guy, John, I've spent some time hanging out with him. John, that founded Morph Market, he is a data junkie. He sees it all. He's going to be on the show, hopefully by December, but he'll be on the show sometime. I cannot wait to pick his brain on where all this goes. And I doubt he'll even be able to share it all with me, but sorry, I keep going on these other.
I think Nixon has a good thing to say right there, which is true. You just hope that people are on the up and up and, not dealing with shady people.
Oh, that's interesting. So you could do like the 31andMe or 21andMe or whatever. Like, they're finding criminals with this stuff now. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. They are going to have it. You would be able to say, hey, I bought this. It didn't prove the way that Adam said. For $65, I could prove that Adam was lying if he wasn't being honest about that. There's various aha moments where I'm always like, man, I love doing this show. And this is why, where I'm just like, yep, I just like fast forwarded my learning just a huge amount, that's actually pretty crazy. I wonder what the legalities of all that are. I'm sure somewhere it's in the fine print that we sign our lives away like we do with anything. But yeah, Nixon, you're right. And Brandon, at the end of the day, you still got to trust the breeder that you're buying from. Because what are you going to do? You don't trust them, but you say, I'm going to go get them. You're going to wait 2 years because you doubt buying it, then prove it that it didn't prove, then go get it tested, and then go running back to the guy. It's not, you know what I mean? That's not going to happen. Or it's not practical to bank on. Could you take somebody's credibility online after that? Of course, you could get a little retribution, but as far as having the snakes and the animals that you want and your project's progressing the way that you want, you still got to buy from the best people that you possibly can. So there's still that breeder buyer trust. So in that light, I think this actually benefits breeders more than it benefits buyers. Like people that are actually going to keep those, intend to keep those animals to breed them. So, for example, that acid possible het clown, that thing's breeding this season no matter what.
Regardless.
But if it proves het clown, I might steer the ship a little bit different direction.
Definitely. Yeah.
And that's not a maybe. I absolutely will. But
you're banking on that. He does prove, so you can get your acid clowns out of him.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment though, on my pairings, I didn't bank on it. I paired them to one just to see
one clown or one het clown.
One het clown. I have a problem of my female breeders are het clowns right now. My visuals are next year. We'll be ready to breed. So I'm in that.
I hatched out 5 clowns out of 7 eggs this year.
Yeah.
on a het-to-het pairing. So don't sleep on hets, man. You guys don't sleep on hets.
I'm putting them to work, man. Don't worry.
I hope you get 5 of them too. Shit.
I do too, man. They owe me. That's for sure. This wasn't not my best year of odds, but I've just happened to. It's the ups. We always focus on the negative part, and then I had good stuff. Anyway. PCF, I would never buy a hat from anyone. Okay, fair enough. I make my own and only sale with a test attached. to it. But that's the thing with the test attached to it. That's just your word that test is that animal. So it still comes to the buyers trusting you from that way. And again, I think we'd all like to get to that point, but sometimes we need to start from somewhere, or we have a fixed resources on that. But I think that the people still have to trust you. Because
if you're one of those people that don't trust people, go buy the visual and make your own heads, just like he was saying. You know, make your own heads and cherry pick the ones that you think are going to prove. Just like I was saying earlier, you know.
Well, and there's different. I think they're here in the audience, but I won't name them. But I had a discussion with somebody one time. I was like, man, I found this great deal on ARS racks, and they're like, I would never buy a used rack. I'm like, it's ARS, man. That stuff will go through a nuclear bomb. And they're like, no, not me. I'm not doing it. I was like, okay.
I would. I bought a Vision rack. I paid $1,500 for the smaller version, and I got the bigger one for $750 on Craigslist. I replaced all the heat wire on it and everything because it's heat rope. Yeah. I replaced all that. Got some new tubs. Things that worked like a champ.
That's how I am. I never have, and I can't imagine a scenario where I ever would. I guess I won't say never, but I've never bought a new car. Absolutely not. Things that I could buy durable and used, 100%. And I have it's a nice vehicle. I think I could drive it another 10 years, but So everybody has, we all have life experiences that we come from that steer us to who we end up being. So I don't have an issue with what PFC was saying.
No, I would test all the heat strips and replace whatever heating elements weren't working right, and you got a brand new rack right there.
Yeah, there is somebody was asking about, well, what if you mix up sheds? Yeah, there's room for human error, and there's room for human error. Let's not get it, mixed up. There's room for human error on their end for sure. But they got it down pretty well. You get a unique code that you have to label every shed with. You get a unique order code that you have to label every order with. And again, these guys are data junkies. They know what they're doing. I'm not. I'm more worried about an error I might make in handling than anything else. I'm laughing. I didn't even read what you wrote. I hope it's something good because your name is worth posting it up. Dumbest mass. This is fantastic. They said the animals can be retested and compared to their database. So if someone attaches a test, you could confirm you got that animal. That is cool. Again, it's a little bit of a long path, and I still think the trust is a huge component.
Well, hey, Adam, do you think, how you said you had to put it in the Morph Market database?
Yeah.
So when you put it in there, maybe they approve that snake on there. And when you sell that snake, you could say, go to my Morph Market database, and it'll show it on your Morph Market.
If they send you that snake, I'm just saying if
they send you that snake, yeah.
If somebody wanted to get around it, they could be a real.
There's definitely ways to get. I mean, that's with anything you get around with.
It is. It's with everything. I mean, it's where unfortunately our industry is not immune to it. And hell, I mean, me buying used cars, man, I better know what's going on. I spend the money up front to have it looked over. Because talk about unscrupulous, man. I think there's sayings about car salesmen on that track, So no offense to any in the audience, but I'm just saying that's.
I'll tell you this: the market's way better now than it was when I got in, and a lot more trustworthy people.
I think, and social media gets knocked for a lot of things. I think social media is what has caused people to have to have a lot more risk if they don't operate on the up and up. I think Morph Market single-handedly changed the industry with their ratings and the platform that they provide. And frankly, as much as I hate internet drama, if you want to know about somebody that screwed somebody over, just go listen to a podcast or somebody's chat room, or go have dinner with a breeder at one of the big shows. Offer to buy a breeder dinner or whatever, or go have a beer with them, kind of deal. Let me see. Mark says it's true that Canova's clutch has a $50 per month price tag. I have no idea what that is. I saw that he ran a promo on it, but I know what is that? Do you know what that is, Carlos?
I don't. Canova's clutch
must be some competition to Patreon, maybe. I don't
I'm
know.
not sure what that is. Huh.
I'm not. It looks like Mark and Brandon will fill us in. I'm not sure so much. Let me see. Creative was asked. Oh, Creative joined. They apologized. Creative said he joined a little bit late. What's up, Keith? It was cool to catch up this week. Yeah, 65 for the testing. Then you could do 25 to test for an additional gene, and 125 to test the whole spectrum of what they test. Is what I'm remembering off the top of my head. But 65 for the first test for sure. More forge. Oh, okay. Holy cow, that seems steep if that's the case. So Mark asked, is it true that Canovus Clutch has a $50 a month price tag? If that is reptile tracking husbandry software for $50 a month, that's, at the end of the day, this is database tracking. This is pretty entry level computer science engineering stuff that we're talking about. Wow. I mean, I know it goes up in value once Billy Rose or once Justin says they're into it. But I mean,
yeah, it's kind of expensive, I think. I mean, but I bet you it does do a really good job. You know, you could print out the little cards and everything, and then all your stuff goes to Husbandry Pro. It always goes to whoever you sold the snake to. So there's a lot of good things, but I think it's still a little expensive.
It is, man. Yeah,
especially if you have more than, what is it, I think like 100 snakes or something, then you got to pay that higher price.
Yeah, Brandon was saying Husbandry Pro. It's hard to say husbandry. Anyway, $20 a month for 200 plus animals. Yeah. Interesting. This is a whole. It's like, I love being part of these innovations are coming. I mean, the innovations in morphs were coming just rapid fire for the past 15 years, and now we're seeing we see Morph Market come onto the stage. We're seeing these data nerds driving the industry, and I say that in a good way myself. And now interesting things at the same time that genetic testing is happening. This data collection is intersecting as well because Husbandry Pro. And whatever this product that Justin is working on, if these are web-based, suddenly these databases have information on all the breeders. They could start to say with certainty, X percentage of owners own X gene. Okay, we need to focus on selling those. It's going to tell those big breeders what to breed. It's going to direct what the market wants. They're taking the Google model. How does Google know what to advertise to you? Because they pay attention to you. It'll be the same kind of thing. That's interesting, man. Sorry, the chat is great tonight. I usually stick more with the content with the guests, but I'm having fun with the chat, and this is kind of flowing in right now. Hang on, I got a great note from Red Zone Pythons earlier in the day, and I said, you know what? I got to talk about that tonight. All right, here you go, Carlos and audience. This is a good topic, full of opinions and debates. This is from Red Zone Ball Pythons. It never occurred to me. You guys want to talk about something on the show? Shoot me a note. Here we go. This is Red Zone Ball Pythons. He says, I think it is a he. I have a quad het male. Quad het, pretty good. That's breeding size this year. My quad het female is not ready. Would you or Carlos pair him to codoms or dominants this year, then genetic test the babies to see what single, double, triple, or quad hets come from the clutch? Or would y'all just wait till next year to pair the quad hets next year? There's your scenario, everybody.
Well, what sucks is that it's just a normal quad het. Now, if it had like a codom or something in it, I would probably say go ahead and breed it to a female. Then you can try to get some, codoms into that project, into that quad project. But I think I'd just wait.
So my take would be two scenarios. One, if I got the space and the time and the drive to keep the babies and hold them back, sure, breed them.
Well, too. So quad het. So if he has a pied or whatever kind of quad hets are in there, xanthic, throw it to one of those females and get a visual out of it, and then now you're dealing with some pos hits on that end.
Now he said he was only going to breed it to other codoms though, so I'm taking that as no. He said he was only would we only breed it to doms or codoms?
Oh, okay, yeah. So then I wouldn't breed it at all. Then honestly,
yeah. If like I say, if it were
not until the female was ready, because then you're really just making a whole bunch of pos. So yeah, there has to be a kind of a line that you're trying to get to, you know.
But it should. So all right, let me play devil's advocate for a minute, because like, so let me say, if I was doing it with the intention of selling any of them, absolutely not. Because I don't think that the testing is probably going to be worth the hit that you might get and the time and the effort.
Right.
If I'm a basement breeder, and I say that endearingly, as I basically am, but I want to make a little bit of money, so I have a little bit of a financial concern in this as well, I'm probably not going to do it. If I'm just wide open, having fun, that would be a blast. I would breed it to the most stacked codom I had and hold it everything back and build the farm. I mean, there's 4 recessive projects right there. And again, let me play devil's advocate. You should have odds that, I mean, the odds would say that every one of the babies are double het for something.
Right.
Not quad het, but double het everything is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, so those would be my scenarios. Does it fit my time money equation? Absolutely not. If money wasn't the problem and time, this was just a fun exercise, and I had the time and I wanted to prove it out and keep myself busy, and that's really what I had going on, absolutely. That'd be a blast, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see. Pow Pow says he agrees with you.
What's up, Pow Pow?
Oh, guys, let's say, all right, so Charlie at Reagan Renee brings up a good point. I've done the math on this many ways. Most likely it would not work out unless the hets are almost all testable. Let's say, for the sake of discussion, they are all testable. I'm assuming that they're all testable in my mind. I still don't think it would be worth it.
I don't think it's worth it still.
Financial time. Again, as a fun family project that crazy stuff could come out of, and in 3 years him look back and laugh at every one of us. Yeah, that's cool. But I don't know. That's a long.
I wouldn't breed it. I would breed it to any one of those visual recessives that it has in it, just so you can get the recessive back, and then hopefully have more like 3 of the pos hit in that animal. You know.
Yeah. The other thing is odds and all are good, but yeah, you have 5 males and 1 female. What are you gonna do with it?
That's true.
And we've been there.
You got to deal with that stuff too. I mean, the male and the female odds too. So
yeah,
it's a gambling game for sure.
That was fun though. Like I say, guys, if you have topics or if you see like,
that was a good one.
Red Zone had just seen when I posted the thumbnail today on Instagram, and he messaged it to me. So, Morph Mart reptiles, I'm with you. At least right now. I'll see where the testing pricing lands. And again, some of it is just what I have. It doesn't make sense for me to go out of my way to test hypos and some axanthic stuff at the moment. But one of my goals, I keep looking over here because I have my goal sheet and my pairing sheet, was in my pairings this year. I didn't want to have any possible hets unless they were the second or the third het in the clutch. I wanted to make, or in the possible results. I wanted to have at least 100% something, and then it could be 50 or 66 behind that. Right. But in my pairings, all of mine are 100% this year. Waiting on that test to come back on the possible het clown. That could change things a little bit for me. But I agree with you, Morph Mart, on that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't ever bank on it. This was 121 says quad to quad is still 256 for the quad visual. Of course, your best bet is to try getting those visuals earlier and then use them wisely. Yeah, I mean, that's the game with doubles, triples, and quads. I mean, you gotta take what you could get and then kind of ping them back and forth until you you're getting visuals replacing the hets, and eventually you get all of them, or you strike it, you know, a little bit quicker. I agree with you. Man, the day there's odds testing, I'm in. I'm investing in that right away. That's, of course, a joke. That's great.
This egg's a male. This egg's a female.
That's right. You got, you know, that. But so in a lot of reptiles, you can temperature sex the eggs, which to the best of my understanding has never been feasibly done in ball pythons. But maybe there's something there technology wise. Let's get to this. You know, we've kind of gone from investing, breeding, testing. What do you do, Carlos? You've got your 66% hets or your het to hets. What do you do with the misses? And when I say the misses, the ones that don't hit, the ones that aren't, I'm not saying that don't prove, I'm saying the ones that produce more possible hets or that produce more hets, because you're going to produce more byproduct than you are your visual slam dunks.
Yeah, you are. And that's why I always try to tell people too, is you got to make sure you have the male that's going to make, no matter what she produces, worth something. You know, if you have a visual pied clown or something, and you're trying to prove out this female that's a double het, you know, and she doesn't prove out, well, everything's still going to be 100% het pied and 100% het clown. So I always want to try to get your strongest male to go to those possible het females.
I'm very glad I brought that up, because that's the best answer, and put it very, very clearly. I tend to wander on my answers. That's great. You got to be able to think about what do you do with the misses, and I think you just said exactly this. Always put your very best male to the sort of least certain outcomes, so that at least you have the certainty of that best male.
Right. Yep.
And you could kind of tick that down as your female gets stronger. You don't need as much responsibility from your male if you've got more going on in the females. But in this arena of possibles, you need kind of a banging male, or you need to work towards getting a banging male.
Right. So, yeah. So you buy those pos hits as their babies, let them grow for 2 years, and then buy your male. You know, if your females are growing pretty quick, you might want to think about buying one sooner, because then you buy a male and he has to grow too, you know, depending on if he's not a proven breeder yet or how big he is, you know. So
yeah. I think one thing that's important too is for people not to get overwhelmed. Like, this all sounds like to an entry level person coming into leaving pet, going into breeding. I remember being overwhelmed. I was like, holy cow, what is all of this? You guys got to remember, 2 years is a long time. You could, you know, you could put aside a fairly small amount of money for 2 years, right, and buy an incredible breeder male when those females are ready to go. Mm-hmm. I'm not a patient person. I do not do well with I'm pretty naturally antsy, if not anxious. I sit here and twist. I have this little fiddle thing I fidget with the whole show. So the thought of sitting still for 2 years, figuratively waiting for something, is just stab me in the eye. But I can tell you though, what I just said is absolutely true. I just this year was able to pick up a double visual pied hypo, and it's super pastel. So from a breeding standpoint, it gives me a lot of really good options. Mm-hmm. It didn't bankrupt me. It wasn't, I'm also stingy with my money, so I didn't go in debt. I paid it out of pocket and build up to it. To take it in steps, take it in, don't get overwhelmed. Take it one day at a time, one piece at a time, and have fun.
That's great advice. Great advice. Yeah, don't get overwhelmed and buying a whole bunch of snakes, and then you don't know how to feed them if you don't have rats, or you can't get your rats, you know. So slow steps, man. Slow steps.
Yeah, I've done many a video on grow at the pace that you're learning at. You can't grow faster than you're learning, because you're going to end up with dead snakes, and you might end up burning your house down. But you got to grow. Don't be afraid of growing slow. It'll pick up. It will pick up.
And when it does, you're going to be like, fuck, these are too many, excuse my language, but too many babies, you know.
For me. But yeah, it's all right. but yeah, like you got, I'm looking around my snake room right now, man. Even just I started this year with 23 snakes, and my investment plan was to buy one double visual male. And I currently now have over 100 snakes in here. Like when it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's figuring out cash flow. A lot of that's when opportunities come up, striking for the right things. And
finding those good opportunities too. Save some money. Don't jump on something that you really want to get right then and there. Save your money, and something could pop up that you're like, damn, I should have waited for that one, you know. And just slowly wait for that snake that you really, really want, opposed to just jumping on something that is in the realm of what you want, but not exactly what you want. So just, hold out on that too,
Yeah, it's really hard to correct. I wouldn't say errors, missteps, because everything in this industry is at minimum 1 year away. At very minimum, to correct a misstep is a year. We're lucky, any of us, to have 100 of those in our lives. So, anyway, do the math. But yeah, be careful on the missteps. You're going to have to buy your way out of a misstep, because timing you just ain't going to have, right?
Right.
All right. Let me see what. You know what? I got one last topic to get everybody riled up over. We can all throw our opinions in. I talked about, this is fantastic. We're going to finish on a really strong note. I forgot about this topic. I promised we'd talk about the current market, and I have, I'm going to use a little bit of my own, what do they call it? Home field advantage, being the show host. I'm going to jump up on my soapbox here for a minute. I want to encourage everybody, but really in life, but certainly for just this section, think through things from a rational standpoint. Don't let politics, who you blame for what happening, what bumper stickers on your car, anything else, who you go out drinking with, whatever. Don't let that do all that all you want. Don't let it convolute your business sense, though. And here's why I say this. We're in a really, really interesting economic time right now. And I say this because I'm passionate about, when there's uncertainty, there's always opportunity to buy. When other people are freaking out, if you can keep your head about you and you got some cash in your pocket, amazing opportunities can come your way. This thing I told you all at the beginning of the show that I'm not going to announce for another couple of weeks, this fits right into that. So we're in this crazy economic time. And here's why I say it's crazy. If you ask everybody, most people say everything's so expensive right now. Except ball pythons. You ask everybody, ball pythons are tanking right now. So look, find where you can hedge your expenses that are going up, so that you could buy the values on the things that are going down. It's like the stock market. It's in free fall right now. Like, it's a gut punch every day if you're relying on that market to go up. But if you got cash on hand, or you have a way to raise cash, hence my constant discussion of cash flow, you could go buy those things at a deal. Pull up a chart of the history of the S&P 500. We're at like a historically worst year ever in the S&P. But you know what happens nearly every time after that worst year ever? Like next year, it goes crazy. I mean, Kai, time to pounce on the powerhouse animals. Guys, if you got opportunities and you have the resources and you have the belief that our hobby and our industry is not going anywhere, buy and sit tight, man. I think that's me in this current market. I after saying all that, it's hard to ask somebody else, well, what do you think? Because I was pretty passionate about that. But what are you seeing? Any moves that you're making that you want to share, or things that you're looking for?
Who, me? In
general? Yeah. In general.
Not right now. I had to kind of stop, and I already bought way too many snakes.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, money is still real. Like, don't go into debt on this stuff. Certainly don't go into credit card debt on this stuff.
Well, I was actually going to bring this up, is a payment arrangement. A lot of people, I don't know if they shy away, and I didn't know how helpful the payment arrangement is if you really want a high-end animal. And I've actually gotten a few payment arrangements over the last couple of years, and it's actually helped me grow my collection a lot better, because I'm able to pay, at a little bit at a time, opposed to having to throw the whole lump sum on there,
Again, the cash flow conversation. If you know you're going to have 200 extra bucks every month, but you don't have $1,000 extra right now, hey, no problem. There's 5 months of cash flow. You got it figured out. I won't name names, but somebody in the audience I had a discussion with over the past couple of weeks, and they were like, payment plans, man, that is where I'm building stuff on, like buying amazing stuff right now, just because of the payment plans.
For real.
I will say I work with my buyers. I mean, I customize it to each person, but we have to agree to what the plan is going to be. And I say, look, if you agree to it, that's the plan.
Right.
But beyond that, I have a little ticket rack from a restaurant where you hang the tickets in the restaurant. Those are my orders.
Yeah, you got that order rack. So this is how I do it. My payment arrangements is, depending on the price, if it's usually $1,000 or more, I'll let you do like a 60-day. If it's up in the $5,000 range, we could work out a 90-day payment plan. And I always tell them 25% down, and then I don't care when you pay me, I don't care how you pay me, as long as at the end of that 60 or 90 days or 30 days, it's paid off. So I don't care if you pay me once a week. I don't care if you pay me once a month. As long as it's paid off within that 60-day time period that we talked about, from the moment you deposit it, from the moment you deposit it, that 60 days from there, that's what you got. 30 days from there, that's what you got. And that's how I usually work my payment arrangements, and everybody's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, I found I'm not going to get too specific because it's kind of interpersonal customer relationship, so I'm not going to string anybody out. But I've learned from starting out selling that I need to be pretty. Here's what it is, and it's sort of like it's like a lease. I mean, I have a long history of rental units, so it's like a lease. It's business. As long as both people agree to it up front, and we both know what we're getting into, then people got to keep up their end of the deal. And that's the business part of it. And it hurts sometimes when you get to know somebody and then you got to go, hey,
you got to knock on the door. What's going on?
Yeah,
man?
It's either this or it's going to be what we talked about, So I just always want to make sure that I'm upfront with people, but I do offer that as a means to both help me in my sales, but also help people to get the animals that they want to get. And I find that it builds a relationship with people. Hopefully they'll come back around and be a repeat customer.
Right. Yeah. You treat them right. You give them a good deal, and you work with them. They'll usually hit you back up.
Yeah, I think so. And everybody wants to feel cared for and appreciated,
Definitely.
Let's see. Yeah. Brandon says, I just paid off a snake from Justin. Is what it is. Payment plans help huge. Yeah. I mean, it's like I say, from the cash flow standpoint, it makes perfect sense, because it's way better. Generally, I don't know anybody doing payment plans where they charge you interest. So why in the world would you set up a payment plan on your credit card that's going to charge an 18 or 20 or 25% interest, So it really is like an interest-free loan for that.
It is. And then they're not only they're going to be feeding the snake for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those 3 months, you don't even have to worry about feeding the snake.
It ain't like you're going to breed it those 3 months.
Yeah. So I look at it like that.
Lower your overhead. Yeah. You don't have to clean the thing. You don't anything. That's an insane.
Yeah, I think about that too. Like, at least I don't have to feed them. But yeah, that's always a helpful thing to, even if it's a $500 snake, it's something that you want. Get into a payment plan with somebody, and they'll work with you. You talk to them, and life comes up. Life comes up sometimes. I always tell people, be transparent with me. Call me if something comes up. Call me if there's an issue, and we'll work it out. If you don't say nothing, and then that day 60 comes, and then you're like, well, I can't pay you. Well, you never told me anything. You never told me you're in any kind of crisis. Like, I'll work with people. At the end of the day, I want you to have your snake, you know?
Yeah, we all win. We all win from delivering the snake and receiving the money. So yeah, that's the outcome. What's up, Stephen and Courtney? This is Stephen and Courtney from Leviathan. They've been vending a lot and selling a whole lot. I didn't have too much trouble selling animals, though the prices seem to have drastically dropped from last season on everything except for the high end. Yeah, the super rare, the super high end, that stuff's usually protected. Like, you don't hear Rolls-Royce complaining about the economy. Like, yes, customers are buying. You know what I mean? Bentley's going to sell. But yeah, you know, the Toyotas, maybe the Lexuses, they're going to come down a little bit, and maybe a lot. We were talking about that quite a bit earlier. It's interesting to me. I spent some time on that topic, both at Daytona and the Tampa Repticon, with some breeders that have been around a long, long time, and they were kind of scoffing at people lowering their prices. And what's really funny, for lack of a better word, interesting, is now I see some of the most vehement complainers about other people dropping their prices. I see them like stuff I'm listing, and I'm going, well, you're undercutting me. Come on, man. Like, and I'm nobody. I'm no big guy. So and I don't knock anybody. I love, aside from any political connotations of it, I realize there are some consequences to it, but I love capitalism because the market fixes itself. The market weeds out the wrong prices. The market will set its prices, and either the animals will sell at the price that the market will pay, or people will hold on to their animals.
Yeah, and quality too. At the end of the day, too.
Yes,
quality of that animal. You know, how nice does it look compared to its counterpart? You know.
Yeah, and that I've always loved that. It's why I've never been afraid of competition. If I think I could do something as good, and I don't mean in snakes, I mean in the restaurant career that I had. I would hear club owners or investors say, well, somebody's going in down the street. Well, somebody going in down the street better bring it, because I know what I'm doing in this location. And I got my customer base. They're going to have to take it from me, you know?
Right.
And usually they weren't direct customers anyhow. Usually they were a breakfast place and I was a dinner, you know, whatever. So I think that there's plenty of people. I think there's plenty of room for it. I think some people will hightail, and there'll be deals when they do go run away.
Oh yeah, that's almost every year. You're there every year. You're going to have that. I mean, I've gotten lucky with some guys getting in and getting right back out. You know.
Yeah.
And
You
get lucky like that. It's not a bad thing, you know. It kind of sucks to see people go, but hey, hooks you up on the end, you know.
Again, from a restaurant background, man, I've seen so many people go, oh, man, I know how to make a delicious fried chicken. I'll open a restaurant. Well, you don't know how to run a business. And just like I wouldn't know how to, it doesn't matter. You get my point. These things come and go, and the market, again, the markets correct themselves. And I think the fact is we do have overhead. Like, we got to feed, whether we raise our own rats, then fine. We got to feed the rats. We got the time. I mean, there's
electricity.
There's an expense to this industry that I see why people lower their prices. Yeah. Sometimes you just go, you know what? I got to keep it going, and that's what I'm going to need to stay alive right now. Hopefully they're not at that dire point. Maybe they're going, I need to sell this, because if I sell 3 of these, I can go buy one of these killer things that's come down so much. I mean, there's a lot of different angles. It's not just people tanking their prices, you know?
Right.
Off-season reptiles. I don't think I've seen you here before. Thanks for being here tonight. Off-season reptile. Sharp logo, too. That looks nice and clean. That's cool.
Yeah, the puzzles are coming down.
Yeah, I'm going to try and use this opportunity to get a puzzle project going. Sellers were spoiled with the price hikes in 20 and 21, but it wasn't just ball pythons. I mean, real estate was phenomenal. I mean, I was lucky enough. I sold my rental unit last year. It was amazing. It was fantastic. So I can't complain. These ups and downs come and go. These days I probably shop at Aldi more than Whole Foods, but you know, I might buy some snakes too. Who knows, with the savings of the money. Carlos, what do we miss? What do I need to? What do we need to hit, man?
Sure, I think we hit the nail, man. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's been a power-packed episode. We delivered what we promised, and I always promise to keep it fresh. So I think I'm gonna wrap it for here. I loved having you on, man. We got to do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. We'll show you. Hopefully, some of these pos hits prove out, and I can show everybody.
That's right. That's right, man. Actually, that'd be fun to track, just to like.
Yeah, and that's why I want to do it on. Like I said, I don't know how to. I'm gonna come at it on my YouTube channel, so be watching out for that. I will figure out a way how to do it because I bought 2 different projects, a DG one the same way with some 50% hits and 100% hits. So stay tuned. I'll definitely get that going soon.
Tell everybody where they can find you, man, before we go.
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube at Elev8ted Morphs. It's Elev8ted.Morphs with an 8, like my name right here. And you can find me on Instagram. Those are my only 2 platforms.
And Morph Market.
Oh, and Morph Market. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely go check them out on Morph Market.
Definitely check out that Morph Market.
There is
and I'm gonna be posting a few more some Cypress Strangers, the ones we were talking about, 50% het puzzle females on there here probably next week. So
nice. Definitely check it out. There's great stuff. What, you already got 16 or 18 on there right now currently too, I think?
Yes, I think 17, 18, yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. That was one of the best, just really on point chats. Everybody always has fun in the chat, but man, we were kind of on it tonight. Special thanks to Brandon, crushing it in the chat. He is the guest next week. That's Brandon Nixon at Nixon Reptiles. We're going to pick his brain a whole lot more than just the chats. I promise that. We're going to talk about breeding strategies with Brandon, and I'll get into all the story behind that next week. But I'm excited to have Brandon back on. He was on as a roundtable guest once before, and this will be a solo show. Following that, we got Gen Z in 2 weeks. I got Stone Age ball pythons in 3 weeks. 4th week, I'll figure out. I don't know. I got a month to figure that one out. And then I got Rashad from 212 Exotics in 5 weeks. And I'll figure the rest out from there. Special thanks to Jordan at JL Royals. His contact information is below as well. Don't sleep on those snakes of his. I think that's it. Do you have a I know you got the intro. Hello. Outro, goodbye.
I just say holla back. We'll see you on the next one. But thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate all the support for me and for Adam. And thank you for having me on, Adam. It was a pleasure.
Dude, likewise, really great pleasure. Let's do it again soon. I do have a song that I send people out with. Stick around for just a second, Carlos. Cheers, everybody.